free yourself forever from the thought that God may be pleased by a life of sacrifice, that the world is any better because of your misery, or that righteousness is more perfectly expressed through poverty than abundance.
Rip it from me, Lord.
Know that the greater abundance of every good thing which you are bringing out in your life, the more perfectly you are satisfying the divine urge within you. Anything you can dream of is not too great for you to undertake if it hurts no one and brings happiness and good into your life. So today we need to make this affirmation together, please.
Today and every day,
I am transformed by the renewal of my mind. I renew my mind with the thought, I am the love of God. The love of God flows through me at all times. When people see or hear me, they experience love. My life is guided by the indwelling spirit of love. And so be it.
Thank you, Nancy. So February, what a great time to focus on the energy of love. And to move beyond, we can encompass it, but to move beyond the ideas that we've gotten from Valentine's Day, that it's a specific kind of love, and to realize that it is what we are talking about is so much more. It is the all-inclusive, unconditional love of the divine that is present not only all around us with each and every contact we make with other people, it is the energy that is in our hearts. We are made out of the love energy of the source itself. We are that love. And the more that we embrace that, the more we begin to realize that and to express that and to bring that into our lives, the more we experience all of those qualities that we've been seeking: peace, joy, abundance, good of every kind. So I would like us all to consider this month as being a time to raise the bar on what we consider love to be. Everybody with me on that?
Yes.
All right, good. There's a beautiful quote by Marianne Williamson, I think, that speaks to this whole issue of love so beautifully. She said, "The more you drop into your heart, the more God can drop into your mind." I think about meditation, how meditation is such a great example of that. As we drop into our hearts in the silence, we allow, the monkey mind. we are able to see through the monkey mind and begin to see the greater truth of who we are and what life is, and that divine presence of love that is so sweet. And so anyway, this entire month we're going to be focusing on the matters of the heart and realizing how when we bring this energy of all-inclusive love into all aspects of our lives become so much sweeter. Today, we drop into, and I love the idea of drop into, the heart of our dreams. And in this teaching, and if you've been here for a while, you've heard me talk about this quite a bit, that when we move in the direction of our dreams, that this is a process in which we unfold our own divinity. As we move in the direction of our dreams, now we are given these beautiful ideas that are directly from the mind of God as to how we are to use our lives. And as we do that, we are expressing the divine in the highest way. But today I want to add a little twist to that And I'll share with you what the twist is in a few moments. But first, I want to share a beautiful story with you. It's a true story. It's out of a book that's called the Campbell Soup. Campbell Soup. Listen to anyway, listen to this. This is so perfect for today. It's chicken soup for the woman's soul. Campbell Soup for the woman's soul, okay. And it's a story that began actually in 1959 with a woman by the name, well, she was a little girl then, by the name of Jean Harper. And she was in the 3rd grade. And her teacher gave the students an assignment. And the assignment was this: I would like you to write about what you want to be when you grow up. Just a very simple little assignment like that. So Jean lived on a farm, and her father was a crop duster. And she was fascinated with crop dusting and with airplanes. And she would dream of the day when she could be a pilot herself. And so she very enthusiastically, she started writing down her dreams, and she wrote down that one day she would dust clouds. She would be a pilot and do crop dusting. And one day, and then Sky King was really big in those days. Anybody remember the show Sky King? Yeah. And they seeded the clouds to make the clouds rain, right? So she thought, well, I can also seed clouds. So she wrote all about that. She kept writing and writing, and she thought about being a parachute jumper, so she wrote about that, and then it kept expanding, and she thought, wow, someday I'd like to be a commercial airline pilot. So she's writing and she's writing and she's writing. Now keep in mind, this is 1959, right? So she poured her heart into this paper, all of her dreams down on paper, wide open, ready, available for for this dream to come true. She hands in her paper. The next day, the teacher lays her paper on her desk. It has a big red F on it, and it reads, "Impossible. You have written a fairy tale. These are not dreams for a girl." Yeah, 1959. Okay, so Jean, of course, was crushed and humiliated, and she took her paper home and she showed it to her father, and he said, "Nonsense! That teacher doesn't know what she's talking about. I mean, look at Amelia Earhart." So temporarily, she thought, okay. But then over the years, as she would bring up her dream with various people, she ran into a lot of negativity. She'd hear things like, "Girls can't become airline pilots. You're not smart enough. You're just plain crazy. That's impossible." So by the age of 10, Jean had given up on her dreams. Anybody, does this sound familiar to anybody? Yeah. I mean, I even had some encounters with that too when I was with an advisor I had in college that told me that I shouldn't take any sciences because I might lose my scholarship. I mean, I had my own version of it. So, and to this day, I love quantum science. But anyway, so it happens. It happens to males and females. And so fast forward her senior year. She receives another assignment, this time from her English teacher. And the assignment is, what will you be doing 10 years from now? So considering the state of her mind at that time, she immediately thinks, pilot? And she goes, no, impossible. And then she thinks, well, maybe a flight attendant. No, not pretty enough. And then she goes to, wife? No, who would have me? And then she goes, waitress? Okay, that's safe. I can do that. And the thing that I want to mention here is there are people who are servers that are phenomenal, and that is their calling. That is their calling. Dan and I, when we go out to eat and we have a good server, we are just ecstatic to receive the kind of love and attention that is provided for us. So I don't in any way mean to put down being a waitress, but this was not her dream. She was doing this out of default because of what the feedback she'd been receiving over the years. So 2 weeks later, her paper was returned and all the other student papers face down. And this time the teacher said, if you had unlimited finances, if you had access to the finest schools, and if you had limitless talents and abilities, what would you do? So the students began to write. And Jean felt this reigniting of enthusiasm within herself and wrote down all of the things that she had, all those third grade dreams. And when the students stopped writing, the teacher asked this question. She said, how many of you wrote the same thing on both sides? Guess what? Not one hand was raised. Not one hand was raised. And then this very wise teacher said, I have a secret for you. I bet she was New Thought. Wait till you hear this. She said, I have this little secret for you. You do have limitless talents and abilities. You do have access to the finest schools. And you can arrange unlimited finances. If you don't go for your dreams, no one will do it for you. You can have what you want if you want it enough. You can have what you want if you want it enough. So in the face of that truth, the years of hurt and discouragement fell away from Jean. She was exhilarated and a little bit scared. So she stayed after school to talk to the teacher about it and to share her dream and to thank the teacher. And the teacher turned to her, stood up, slapped her hand on the desk and said, well, go do it. So Jean did, and over the next 10 years of hard work, she, and also facing all kinds of opposition. Sometimes it was quiet opposition, a little resistance, but sometimes it was outright nastiness. And so even in the midst of that, she continued. First, she became a private pilot. And then she got ratings to fly air freight and commuter planes as a co-pilot. And her employers were openly hesitant about promoting her because she was a woman. So she pressed on and accomplished every single dream on her third grade list that her third grade teacher said was a fairy tale, right? This is the human spirit. I love this. So for a time, she was a crop duster. She did a few hundred parachute jumps. She even one summer seeded clouds. She took a job doing that. And in 1978, she was one of the first female pilot trainees accepted by United Airlines. And then finally, one day, she realized her ultimate dream. She became captain of a Boeing 737. Yay! And here was her comment at the end of the article. It said, I chose to believe my teacher, and then I committed myself to the dream. I chose to believe her, and then I committed myself to the dream. When you drop into the heart of your dreams, what are you believing? Who are you believing? And what are you committed to? Those are the two questions that I want to deepen into this morning. Because the truth is, you're going to hear it directly from me. is that you can do anything you want. You can be anything you want if you want it enough. That's how life works. We are amazing creative beings. Because we are of the one source. Our nature is to create. And we can create what we don't want by focusing on that all the time, or we can create what we do want by keeping our eyes on our vision of what our life is, just like Jean did. So I'm going to be using the acronym today just to deepen into this of DREAM. And D will stand for deserve your dreams, R for reach for them, E for expect the best, A for align with source, and M, manifest your heart's desires, which is the end product. The last one is actually the result of doing the other four. So I want to talk about this word deserve, because this is where many of us get tripped up. This word deserve, which has come to mean in our culture that you have to have certain qualities in order to earn your dreams. And that is nonsense. That's nonsense. That's a human created idea. And I want to raise it to the spiritual perspective, which is, and the truth, what I believe is the truth, is that when we are gifted with a dream, it is the activity of the divine within us seeking expression. The activity of the divine within us seeking expression. So yes, we deserve our dreams. And no, we don't have to do anything to earn our dreams. Our dreams are simply ours because of who we are in truth. Emanations of the Most High, pure spirit in these human bodies that are here for a purpose. We all have great purpose in our lives. We have a way in which we uniquely express our love. And so dreams and desires are from the source, and they are given to us freely. Freely. That's what grace is. We talked about grace a few weeks ago. Given to us freely. Grace. An act of grace. So again, to quote what Ernest Holmes said, he said, anything you can dream of is not too great for you to undertake if it hurts no one and brings happiness and good into your life. And you know, when we bring happiness and good into our own lives, because we're interconnected with everyone, we are bringing happiness and good into the life of everybody around us, right? Yeah. Anybody notice that? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I'd like us to say this affirmation together, just to root it in, if you're willing to do this. So repeat after me. My dreams are the divine urge.
My dreams are the divine urge
Of creation in me.
Of creation in me.
I deserve them.
I deserve them.
I have all that I need.
I have all that I need
within me
within me
to fulfill them.
to fulfill.
Because we have the very creative power of the one source within us that we can tap into at any point in time. In the book Big Magic, and here's where the twist comes that I talked about a little bit earlier. In the book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, she wrote about something called healthy arrogance. So it requires, just like Jean had some healthy arrogance, she believed in her dreams even when other people didn't. You know, once she got the support of her teacher, that's healthy. Well, I'm going to call it healthy arrogance, just to really make the point that it requires us to step into a quality called boldness, to be bold with our dreams, and to not let anything get in our way. So again, here's an example of what she calls this healthy arrogance. She calls it, I am entitled to exist and therefore express myself. I am entitled to exist and therefore express myself. And she says that this healthy kind of arrogance, you can think of it as divine confidence, whatever works for you, she said, is the only weapon to combat that nasty inner dialogue. And so not only is there the outer dialogue maybe from other people, but there also tends to be that inner dialogue. We can call it the monkey mind or the conditioned mind, whatever it is, where we tell ourselves, whenever we have like a creative impulse and the thought comes in, who do you think you are to think that you're creative? You have no talent. Get back into your hole. Anybody have anything similar to that shows up sometimes when you get this, this wonderful idea and you go, the thought comes in. And often for many people, I'm not going to say it's true for people in here, but there is a tendency to go, you're right, I'll go back into my hole. And we don't want to do that. We want to have a more generative, a more interesting conversation with ourselves. That's what spiritual mind treatment is, when we do that affirmative prayer that Donna just so beautifully showed us. We're having a conversation with ourselves about the spiritual truth, the ultimate reality of life, the goodness of life. That life that we call God or spirit or source, the goodness of that presence. And therefore, we are that good. And I love what Ernest Holmes, his very short little way of saying that. There's only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. Because we are of the source. We are of God. She says healthy arrogance is not only the only weapon to combat the inner dialogue. It is a kind of dialogue that is a way that we stand up for ourselves and defend our creativity, the creative person that we are, by defining ourselves. And she gives examples. So she says, stand up and declare, I am a writer, I am a singer, I am an artist, I am a photographer, I am a chef, I am a designer, I am an inventor. Whatever it is for you. And if you're not sure, say, I don't know yet exactly what I am, but I'm willing to find out. Another thing that we do in this teaching is after the I am, we talk about the qualities of God. I am love. I am wisdom. I am light. I am beauty. I am grace. I am good. I am good and very good. Because God is all of that. And we are the emanations, the children of the Most High. We are made in the likeness and image of that one source. So I'm feeling called right now to just invite you to go within for a moment and think of what your proclamation is of who you are. What is it for you? Close your eyes for a moment and think of that. And we might be multiple things, but think of one thing that you would like to more firmly affirm for yourself right now in this moment. And we're going to say it all at once, so nobody has to hear you. But I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I am light. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. I am love. Beautiful. What Elizabeth says is this statement of intent is an announcement to yourself and the universe. Hearing this, your soul will ecstatically mobilize. It has been waiting for you to wake up to your truth for years. Beautiful. So a proclamation of intent and entitlement. Healthy arrogance. I love that. That's our twist for today. So let's move on to R and E. I'm going to combine those two together. Reach for your dreams and expect the best. When I think of reaching for your dreams, I think of Von Goethe. There's a beautiful couplet that he wrote that goes like this. What you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Okay, boldness. So, what is your dream? And are you committed to it? Commitment. Commitment, a powerful word. There's one thing to have a dream, it's an idea. And there's another thing to commit to it, which requires what? The A word. What is that A word? Action. Commitment requires action. How can you be committed to something if you just sit there and don't do anything about it, right? Commitment requires action, so it has a lot of power in it when you say, I am committed to this. So if you're committed, you're reaching for your dreams through persistent action, and you are, and here's the E, expecting the best despite setbacks. Expecting the best despite setbacks. And I think of one of the most bold testaments to that I've seen recently is the movie Hidden Figures. How many of you have seen that movie? Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a whole group of Black American women who, and this was back in the very beginnings of the launch of the first space shuttle, who faced discrimination. I remember at one point in time, they were working in one building, and they had to run all the way across the campus to use the bathroom because of what was going on in those days. And in addition to that, even though this one woman in particular had incredible, this one, right? Had incredible skills as a scientist, she had to kind of she had to kind of work her way into finally being on that major team. And she would work for hours coming up with the formula that was necessary for a safe launch. And she was the one who came up with it, And a bunch of other women who the men couldn't figure out how to do the program, these big computers. So all these women would go in at off hours and figure out how to use the big computers. And they did. And true story. I mean, it's so inspiring when people are committed to their dreams. And these women were. What a great example. Right. So William Murray in the Scottish Himalayan expedition. Here's another one of my all-time favorite quotes. It goes like this: until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative, there is one elementary truth. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents. Meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt, or woman could have dreamt, would have come their way. I learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do, or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic. Okay, genius. So boldness has genius, power, and magic. All right, magic in it. Good. So now we move to A, for align with source. And next week I'm going to spend much more time on aligning with source. But for today, for now, it's a reminder that every time we know our truth, just like Jean's teacher taught her the truth of her soul, of her spirit, of her essence, when she said, that you do have limitless abilities and talents and access to unlimited resources and finances. We all do. We all do. So I'm going to say to you, you do have unlimited talents and abilities, every one of you. You do have access to unlimited resources. You do. Because of who you are. There is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life and your life right here and right now. And so when we do all of these things, when we have healthy arrogance to know that we deserve our dreams, when we commit to reach for our dreams and expect the best, when we align with Source by knowing our truth, then the manifestation of our dreams and our greatest desires happens instantaneously. Instantaneously. It's all that beautiful flow of truth of who we are and the action that's required. So we can have what we want if we want it enough. So the question is do you believe me?
I believe you.
Yes or no? Do you believe me?
Yes.
All right. Very good. So let's stand for this final. We're going to do the same one that we did earlier, but this time with a deeper understanding and a deeper awareness of who we are. Let's use the creative power of our word. Our word is creation unfolding. So let's use it with heart. You ready? My dreams are the divine urge of creation in me.
My dreams are the divine urge of creation in me.
I deserve them.
I deserve them.
I have all that I need
I have all that I need
within me to fulfill them.
within me to fulfill them.
So I now go forth.
So I now go forth.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Oh.